What the future holds for newspapers has been hotly debated, especially by people whose jobs hang in the balance. This week, Boston Globe editor Brian McGrory weighed in with a blunt take, capturing just how tricky the balancing act is for traditional media. WGBH News reporter Adam Riley has more.
When Boston Globe editor Brian McGrory spoke at Harvard's Shorenstein Center Tuesday, his frank remarks about what the future holds for newspapers got people's attention.
I have absolutely no idea. Anyone who tells you they know is either lying to themselves or lying to you or lying to everyone around them.
But McGrory had even more to say. Even though print ad revenues are down, they still account for more than 75% of the Globe's revenue.
So to run too hard towards digital is leaving too much behind. And if you don't pay attention to what the future is in digital, then you're stuck in the past and it's going to get pulled out from under you.
Which means papers like the Globe can't simply become digital-only sites like BuzzFeed or Vox, the impressive new startup from former Washington Post columnist Ezra Klein. That doesn't mean the Globe can't experiment. Just this week, the paper debuted its first ever documentary.
These five were crossing the finish line as the first bomb exploded.
And McGrory says other changes are coming, including more politics, more narrative journalism, and more personality. But as McGrory himself would probably admit, whether that's the right mix remains to be seen.
I want to know what more personality means, Farah. What do you think? More people like you? What does that mean?
Well, they are putting a lot more columnists on the front page. Yeah. They've got Catholic columnists. I mean, look at the Denver Post and how the Denver Post has a marijuana channel. I mean, everybody is trying to find the formula that's going to bring us out of this hole, and it's scary. But I think people are trying a lot of different things, and I think that's why so many smart billionaires are coming after newspapers, because they all want to be the guy who solves this problem.
It's interesting, though, how frank they were, Dan, about the online revenue. That it's just not there. 75%
Sure.
is still the the hard copy.
Sure.
And to use his phrase, they can't run away from that.
No, you can't. And in fact, I mean, I think we've known for some time that print has a future, basically as a luxury product. The Globe has jacked the price of its print edition up a lot, and that's actually been a good source of revenue for them. And I'm sure they'll continue to offer print at a high price for as long as some people are willing to pay for it. Unfortunately, what's happened is the online advertising business has collapsed, and it's still a really tough slog to get people to pay for digital. But unfortunately, if we're going to have great news organizations like the Globe, they have to find a way to succeed at getting people to pay for digital, and I hope they are able to do that.
I think it all depends on, and that's been the challenge, to find just the right advertising that appeals to the people who can afford to pay luxury prices for the Globe. Now, as it happens, on any given day, there's all kind of luxury sites online that are buzzing with people shopping. How you translate that or get it to, to underpin, a good reading material like the Globe, I don't know, and so that's the end of it. If I did know, I'd be very wealthy. But I do think that there is a space for everything. But I also think that some of these people that have run off to do their own thing, like the Ezra Kleins, let's just wait and see how that's going to go too. I am not convinced that just by strength of personality alone, and that's what he brings, and some measure of skill, that's going to be a winner. I just am not convinced yet. Yeah.
I read his what do you call it, website or blog, whatever it is, Vox. No, I know it's Vox, but it's like it was not remarkable. It wasn't special. It was well laid out.
Yeah, I mean, being mindful of Brian's admonition, I'm not going to lie and say I know what's going to happen next. No one does. But I think we're on the verge of starting to find out with, as he noted in his remarks, what these big bucks newspaper owners, John Henry, Bezos, they're going to experiment. And so we'll see, what works here. The takeaway for me out of the transcript that I read of his remarks was that print revenues are down 9% a year. Digital revenues are down. And we're talking not just about the McGrory era, which has produced an excellent mix and made the Globe very interesting, but Marty Barron before him. The Globe was a very good product during the Barron years as well, and it wasn't all that shabby even before Barron got here. So, you know, it's not that what they've been doing is bad. It just hasn't found a commercial mix that's viable, and you know, no one really knows. It may be that what we look at today as a modern-day newspaper is just not going to exist in 10 years. We've talked about this before. People will design their own news diet from a variety of print and video sources, and it'll all be delivered into their hand at their command, and you know, that would be a whole new universe.
It is. Now, the Globe is doing some very interesting things, though, and in fact, I would argue that at this point, John Henry is actually running ahead of Jeff Bezos in terms of the innovative billionaires approach. Because the Globe does have, they're starting these specialty websites. They've got Beta Boston, which is covering the innovation economy. They're about to unveil this Catholic website that may have a print component. And what they seem to be doing is arraying these special interest projects around the main product, and they'll kind of feed each other. You get a specialty national audience, but you also get the local audience. And you know, nothing has worked so far, but this is very interesting, and it may succeed to some extent.
A key to that is how do you monetize it? Because maybe you get, I mean, do you have those, you know, Catholic readers from around the world paying a different price or paying 25 cents per article? I mean, that's the question. How do you monetize this? And because our model before was, you know, Filene's paid $28,000 for a full-page ad, and they were in downtown Boston, and so, you know, our readers were here. But now our readers might be all over the world. How do you get money from them for reading?
Yeah, and Filene's isn't even here.
Right? Sure.
Sure. Good point.